YouTube? Topaz Yates back for another album review, and this one is that Prodigy, Hegelian Dialectic. And I'm giving this one the yellow light because we're getting a pretty solid concept here, man, which I'm going to break more into that later. And it got a couple pretty decent songs too. Now my whole issue is that, you know, Prodigy's whole style, if that's what you want to call it, has always been an acquired taste. Honestly, throughout his entire career, Prodigy has been lacking the core fundamentals of being a rapper, but yet he sounds so different. People want to label that as his own unique style, and which, I mean, I'm all cool with that in the game, but I'm just telling you that there are better rappers out there that are a lot more on point than what he is. And that's ultimately what drags this entire project down, even as it is a super well thought out project. Like, in order to craft an understanding of what he's talking about on here, first you gotta understand what exactly is Hegelian Dialect. So Hegelian Dialect is pretty much the foundation of what debate was brought up on. Like, this was invented by the Greeks, in which they developed the whole format on how people were to debate each other on opposing views of certain conversations. So understanding that, you gotta understand that each back-to-back song, they're all pretty much taking a different direction of the same concept here, and we're gonna break them all down. Starting the album off was that Mystic and Broken Rappers, in which the Mystic, he's ultimately talking about himself on how passionate he is when it comes to doing music, on how he's constantly trying to recreate and do better with his craft and all of that, like the devotion that people need to be taking in order to be good at this rap craft. But yet the Broken Rappers song is ultimately people's complaints at the music industry as it is today on how most rappers are not doing exactly what he was saying in the first track. Then you got Tyranny and Motherfucking USA, in which Tyranny is pretty much breaking it down like all of these issues that we're having socially right now is all by design of the government and all of that. Ultimately, to the point that a lot of people put the tinfoil hat on, and that's ultimately what he's calling out on that Motherfucking USA, where he's pretty much saying that United States is just broken overall, like it's a bunch of different subsections of different things, in which all of these things are so crooked and there's no underlying theme that connects them all. It's just everything is crooked right now. Look at Microcosm and As If, in which As If is one of my favorite songs off this entire project here. But Microcosm is taking the whole persona of being a real street cat, man, and breaking it down as this is what everybody wants to claim to be and all of that. While As If Prodigy is pretty much breaking it down like he's the realest because he's out there living his life and not having to lie and be anything that he's not, like most rappers out there are being. And then you got Snakes and Good Fight, in which Snakes is all but don't trust anybody at all, do everything on your own, everybody's just going to ruin you as you go. But then the Good Fight is ultimately him talking about his foundation of people that was in his past that helped him become who he is with his family, his grandmother, his mother, his father, all of that. And then you got Spiritual War and No Religion, where Spiritual War is ultimately being a spiritual person and believing that we're all going to pull through this, while No Religion is ultimately looking at religion as a whole and how it's been sold to us and everything, man. As he breaks down the whole reality of the struggle that we are within, Spiritual War and No Religion are the other two favorite songs that I have off this entire project. Keep in mind, he's not choosing a side on one side or the other. He's ultimately torn between them, and he's giving his own point of view on both levels, in which he's trying to speak for black people as a whole here, because this is where a lot of black people are torn. Honestly, it's a great concept, and those three songs right there are solid enough to give this one the yellow light and all, but yet the flawed basis of his flow and his lyricism is not as strong as people want to portray it to be. Like, yes, Prodigy is a legend, he did his thing with Mobb Deep all the way around and such, man, no taking away that, but let's just keep it 100 here, man. There are higher quality MCs that are out there still to this day. So overall, I give this joint a 6 out of 10, but a quick recap. The positives that I'm taking from this is it's an excellent and well thought out concept here. The negatives is the core fundamentals of Prodigy, which has never really been there. It really took away from a lot of the quality songs that could have been. But this concludes today's review, and now we're going to jump to a brief instrumental from underground producer Sling Rawl and Fifth Stone before we jump into the news and then jump into an article from downloadpads.com. So have you seen that Q, the founder of World Star Hip Hop, passed away at age 46. super young, man, but yet he really wasn't in shape like that either. And you know, he was one of the few out there who's humble enough to reach the level that he reached to actually send out messages back to people who sent out messages towards him. Like, I sent the message out to him and I actually got a response. Even though it wasn't the response that I wanted, I still respected it, the fact that he actually took the time to do such. While most people reach that level and make all of this money that he made with Worldstar, they just turn their back on everybody altogether. Although the content of Worldstar Hip Hop was rather questionable, man, he was an ultimate hustler that found his own way, that found his own success, that built that brand up to being where it's at today, man, where everybody is chanting Worldstar as they're shooting some ignorance. So it's ultimately an interesting legacy that he leaves, man, but yet he did it his way, so you can't take it away from him. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpads.com, and today's article is about regional sounds, in which this is not a good thing for hip-hop, even though this is something that everybody tends to do. Because here's just the reality of it. People are just so hungry for success, they'll do whatever it takes to get there. So if somebody within their city or within the region ends up blowing up with one particular sound, they tend to look at that sound like, oh, that's the sound that I'm just missing. Like, if I emulate that, then I'll be able to reach the level in which he's doing right now on a national level. So it ultimately becomes a whole bunch of people within one certain population that all sound the exact same, when that's not how hip-hop works. Yes, multiple people will get put on based off of one particular sound that was invented by an individual. It's not really competition, it's more of these people trying to milk that sound for all it's worth, but yet only a handful of people are actually going to be able to do it, while a bunch of people within the game are going to try to emulate it to continue to push it. As an individual that's trying to come up, man, it's more important for you to try to focus and find the next sound that ain't nobody else on yet, man. Something unique to you that no one can do until they straight up copy you. That's really the next thing that's going to put you on. See, all of these regional sounds that you were trying to emulate, man, is ultimately taking away your opportunity instead of giving you one. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.